Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alhamdulillah, we are coming to the month of Rajab, if I'm not mistaken, right? The Rajab is in about perhaps about a few days time, about 5 or 6 days time. Yeah, Rajab, as you know, is a month of the we call it the sacred month or Shahrul Haram, right? In which it is stated in Surah number 9, verse number 36. In the middle part, yeah, that do not wrong yourselves there. That means, alhamdulillah, by going to Umrah, there's less opportunity to commit sins, isn't it? Inshallah, unless you have already planned to commit sins, right? You wouldn't be committing sins usually, right? But don't be surprised, brothers, that is also the place where people are taking advantage of, cheating and lying, right? Or even stealing things, right? The place where we kiss the black stones, that is a quite famous place where people lose the money and all this, right? When I went there a few times, okay, I'm embarrassed to say this, there's the Indonesian gang, right? Who was, they work in trees, right? So they was always telling, do you want us to help you? And then if we say, then they will help you to kiss the black stone. Then after that, they will charge you $100 US. Right? So yeah, you don't be surprised. The house of Allah, but you know, when I confronted them, they will say, "Oh, are you Iblis?" So I said, "No," right? Because they're accusing me of not helping others to kiss the black stone. Yes, I will help, but not at the expense of charging. Isn't it true? Quite a lot, and I confronted them a few. Yep. So these are the things that we do need to be careful. Now, the most important thing about your Umrah, is it your first time, Usama and Bilal?
No, not for me. I went 3 years ago with my older brother.
Okay.
And I've been multiple times when I was younger.
Yeah. Okay, so you're quite expert in a sense.
To an extent, I wouldn't say expert.
I'm going to test you, no, Usama. Bilal?
I've only been once when I was 11.
Okay, that's not counted because you're not reached puberty yet. So, okay, so it is important. What do you think is? My cat's doing something. What is the most important thing for you to when you go there, right? What most important that you must ask yourself?
Intention. Your niyyah.
Yeah, that's automatic. But again, in the sense that everybody has a different need, isn't it true? Right? Somebody might want to get married. Nile want to get 2 wives. Other people may want to have they want to get a new job, right? Some people want to be closer to Allah. Everybody is different, right? Our journey in life is different, but for sure, inshallah, it must be leading to, inshallah, to be close to Allah. Isn't it true? At the end of the day, right? That's very important, right? So it's not just about, okay, you must do this, do that. It's not just about following the procedures and the ritual aspect of it, but it is also to understand your journey, right? Perhaps you want to be a better Muslim, inshallah. Perhaps you want to be somebody who will come back and, be somebody who will be more God conscious, yeah, and all this, yeah. That's the first thing that you must know. Everybody's different, right? It must not be the reason, of course, to increase your Facebook pages, right? To increase your likes on your social media, right? It must not be the way, right? Secondly, it's quite important also, right? And even for me, I've been in Alhamdulillah so many times, but I do always assess myself, how different am I after that Umrah, right? And only you can assess yourselves, right? When I said different, doesn't mean this, doesn't mean your thought, doesn't mean anything. Isn't it true, right? It must be from the heart, right? Again, only you can assess yourselves. What a waste of money if you are doing this and you can find yourself either not improving yourself or worse, even a worse Muslim. I had some students who came back from Umrah, they are worse than they were before. worse, for sure, right? Then you need to ask yourself whether the Umrah is accepted, isn't it true? By Allah, right? So this is very important that we focus also on our development, spiritual development, after we attend did the Umrah, how much we have improved, yeah? Because if not, and of course, inshallah, right, this Umrah eventually should lead to Hajj, inshallah, isn't it true?
Inshallah.
Right? And this is part of your dua, right? That you do want to make your dua, that Allah to invite you to perform the last pillar of Islam, right? And like it or not, the last pillar of Islam actually doesn't depend on your financial resources, because if Allah invites you, you will go, isn't it true? Right? Perhaps somebody would, and I know some students, they got all these free things from other people and all this. If you go, you'll go. On the other hand, you also know that people have so much money, but they haven't even performed Umrah yet. Yeah, so everybody has a different journey, but make sure, inshallah, this is the thing that we must keep in mind, right? The next thing, again, before even we go to Umrah, right? We discussed before, alhamdulillah, we have been doing at least 5-6 classes, right? Online, yeah. We also have discussed about the provisions to bring, right? And Allah said in the Quran, right, in Surah number 2, verse number 197, right, in the meaning, right, bring provisions with you, but the most important provision is your mobile phone.
Taqwa.
Yes, taqwa, isn't it true? Taqwa, God conscious.
Yep.
And this is quite important. That's why in last few weeks we have been discussing about what is taqwa and all this, right? Because it doesn't. So, for example, right, if a person is always cheating and lying in London and want to go to Umrah, right? You don't change just like that, isn't it true? Right? Everybody is different, of course, right? We are not judging anybody. Everybody has their own different shortcomings and all this. But eventually, before you go for this Umrah, right, we do need to be conscious of Allah, right, in terms of our deeds, in terms of now it is still the timing between the prayers are still short, right? In the sense that if it is Asar time, right? If you have not done your Dhuhr, I mean, there must be something wrong with you, isn't it true? Right? And don't blame your employer, don't blame anybody else but yourself, right? If you think that the Allah is so important, then you would not be in this job. That always cause you to miss your salah, isn't it true? Right? And all this we have to understand, again, is part of Tawheed, right? If you understood Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, which means Allah is, what does the Rob means? Do you know, Sama?
The rock.
Rob. When you say Rabbil Alamin, what does Rob means?
Your Lord.
Elaborate.
Rabbil Alameen. Your Lord, isn't it? Like, I don't know too much.
Okay, this is quite important, right? Because Tawheed is so important. Even before we do Umrah, Tawheed must be at the top of our mind, right? Because the Quran was revealed in 23 years, when for 13 years in Mecca, almost every command is about Tawheed, isn't it true? Revelations, right? So, and once we understand Tawheed, that's why once come to in Medina, the Sahaba had no problems to execute the command of Allah, because Tawheed is in the heart, right? When we say Rabb, right, it means the creator, the maintainer, the sustainer, the one who guides, the one who protects us. Yeah. So we must completely understand this, because if we are so scared that my boss may not like me because then I may lose my job, then at the end of the day, at the end of the month, the one who provides you the money is not your boss, it's our Rabb, isn't it true? Right? Yes. And this is something which all of us must have in our heart, right? If we understood completely Tawheed in terms of the three branches, Rububiyyah, As-Sama wa Sifat, which is names and attributes, and last one, it is the Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, oneness of Lordship. Then our Umrah, for me personally, it will make clear. Then you will know what to do, right? But if we don't understand Tawheed very well, then I'm afraid that you may face quite a lot of difficulties in the Umrah. Yeah. And this is something in which all of us must truly, if we do not know this, do ask, right, so that we can explain to you what is all this, Tawheed is the most important thing. Yep. Like it or not, you will see, right? As you have been there, Usama and Bilal, you have seen in Medina itself when people are making dua that they are not facing the Qibla, they're facing the Prophet's grave, right? You have seen it, I'm sure, right? And that itself is against Tawheed al-Uluhiyah, oneness of worship, right? And sometimes even Rububiyah, right? Because they think that Prophet Muhammad can protect them. Nobody can protect except Allah. So again, if we fail to understand this, right, I'm afraid that a lot of people will commit a lot of innovations, and this itself for me is more important than the procedures or the manasik itself, right, of the Umrah, right? You will see, right, nowadays, subhanallah, almost every day it is raining, right, down there, right? When it rains, you will see people collecting the water, right? They think this water is holy, and they start to drink, right? Or they start to wipe themselves for blessings, yeah. And then they will start to wipe the head or the pyramid on this Makam Ibrahim, yet in order to get the blessings. All this is completely may lead to shirk, right? Against is completely opposite the Tawhid al-Rububiyah and al-Uluhiyah, oneness of worship and oneness of lordship. Yeah. So this is the thing that we do need to understand even before we go, right? That's what Allah said, right? That the Surah 9 verse number 1, sorry, 2 verse 197, that bring a provision with you, but the most important provision is taqwa, God conscious, right? Because if we have God conscious of Allah, right, then we wouldn't be so busy doing the tawaf with a selfie stick, isn't it true, right? Taking the videos and all this. Who are we going to please? You're going to please your Facebook fans, TikTok fans, are going to please Allah. And this is a thing which is so common that we do need to avoid. Now, if of course your intention it is to show off, sometimes I do take videos, because sometimes when you take videos, I can show my students that this is the place, right? This is where you start your the tawaf and all this. I do that sometimes, yeah. But try to refrain yourselves when you are doing this acts of worship, yeah, because that will make it such that you may. Shaitan is always very jealous that we want to worship Allah. Isn't it true? Shaitan will always want to corrupt our intention, always wanted to make sure that our deeds are not accepted, right? Now, and we must understand next, and this is all very basic, that we must understand and make it clear, right? There's no point that we spend all this money only to find that our Umrah is not accepted. Agreed? And therefore, again, as a quick revision, that our Umrah must be accepted upon 3 conditions, right? Number 1, what is it? Now, it's not a surprise question, no? I can't hear you now. I'll mute.
Oh, my bad. I was gonna say, I don't know, is it like Ihram attire being correct?
Sorry, what did you say?
Ihram attire being correct? I don't know.
No, the basic things. I'm not talking about nitty-gritty thing. I'm talking about basic things of how our Umrah going to be accepted. What's the first one?
Intention.
Before that? Either you must be a Muslim,
I was gonna say shahada.
or even then, if you're Muslim but you commit shirk, would your Umrah be accepted? No, isn't it true? Right? Once a person commits shirk, that means everything will be nullified. All right? So again, since we have to correct ourselves. Right?
Stop about Hajj. The Hajj would still be accepted, right? Because that's the only way they can cleanse their sins, potentially.
For Hajj?
Yeah, because if they commit shirk beforehand and then go on Hajj.
Yes, but not all Hajj are acceptable again, isn't it true?
Yeah.
So the basic principle is still the same, right? And again, you will be very surprised, right? You will see people committing a lot of shirk there, right? So this is the thing. Once we commit shirk, that's it. The whole Umrah and Hajj won't be accepted. Agree?
Even minor shirk as well? Is that minor and major or just major?
In general, this is about major shirk, right? But doesn't mean minor shirk that. Okay, because what is minor shirk?
So, for example, let's say, for example, I'm leading the salah and I'm trying to beautify my voice to please the other
Yes,
people.
so it's about showing off, isn't it true?
Yeah, correct.
So showing off, would it lead to hellfire?
Yes.
Because the three examples, remember the person died as a martyr, person died as the Quran, right? Person died as a generous person. The three of them were dragged into the fire by their face, right? So again, we have to be very careful with this, right? To avoid doing all this, right? So
Yes.
whether major minor shirk, we need to avoid everything, inshallah. All right, that's why I would say to prevent all this, then we should take. I didn't say don't take any pictures or videos, but if you want to take it, make sure you correct your intention, inshallah. Okay, it's very important. So this is the first thing. Secondly, as you said, the intention, right? So the first one, either you are Muslim or Muslim but don't commit shirk, or right? If not, you won't be accepted. Second one, intention must be only for the sake of Allah, 100%, not 99% for the sake of Allah, 1% for your TikTok fans, right? 100% must be for the sake of Allah, right? Thirdly,
is it following all the mandatory acts?
Meaning?
For example, proclaiming that you're going on Umrah, the miqat.
No, you're being too specific again. This is a general thing. You need to follow Quran and authentic hadith, isn't it true?
Yeah.
Right? Because you will see many people may not be doing this. People are doing some crazy things there, right? In the Umrah, right? Either tawaf or whatever it is, they're doing things that completely not following Quran and authentic hadith. If they don't do it, then it won't be accepted. So again, inshallah, right? We do aim for our Umrah and Hajj to be accepted, right? That's why we do need to, inshallah, try to follow the best methodology or the best manasik. Yeah, manasik means the rituals, yeah, of the Umrah, right? In accordance to the Quran and authentic hadith, inshallah. Okay. Yeah. So the next thing, of course, that we do need to really go through quickly is, of course, that we need to understand every single thing that we do, right? Again, this is my culture, right? Especially my culture, I see, right? A lot of people, the sheikh says something, they just follow, right? When they don't understand what they are reciting, you heard before, I'm sure Bilal and Usama, we went there, right? When you do the tawaf, the sheikh will say something, the people just follow, even though they don't understand Arabic, not their language, and they just follow, right?
Yeah.
So this is something in which we must completely avoid, right? In order to ensure that we know what we are saying in every single words that we say, right? So the dua need not even be in Arabic. It can be in your own language. Agreed, right? But most important that we understand, right? So don't waste time to do things that you don't understand. Right? But for sure, there are certain things, as you may remember, right? In certain parts, you should say this dua, right? So this is part of the sunnah, right? Other than that, in any parts you want to say dua, do it in your own language, right? But at least, of course, right, you have 3 weeks, you should memorize a few dua that is in the Quran or the authentic hadith, isn't it true, right? That are able to be, because like it or not, the dua that is in the Quran and authentic hadith, that means through Prophet Muhammad SAW, right, of course, are better in terms of the acceptance of it. Yeah. But this dua is still very general. You have your own dua, right? Nell wanted to marry 2 wives. Somebody wants to do other things, right? So you have your own individual dua. Somebody want to develop a company, whatever it is. This is your dua, yeah. So make it in your own language, inshallah. Okay. Now, questions? Okay. No questions. We will go through the manasik itself now, right? Just as a revision, yeah. So you guys are going to Medina first, isn't it true? Right? So that means your place of your intention is in this mosque called Bir Ali, right? Bir Ali is a mosque which is quite close to Medina. Yeah, maybe about 20 minutes bus. You reach this mosque called Bir Ali, right? So either you will move to, you change your into ihram attire in the hotel itself, yeah, or change in this Bir Ali itself, yeah. But in the morning before you do all this, yeah, for now and Arbi, both all of us, we are going to do our ghusl first, right, in your hotel in the morning, right? Make sure that we have also what do you call it, trim our pubic hair and your armpit hair, all this, yeah, as a sunnah, yeah. And for the men, it is a sunnah to put perfume, yeah, because Aisha anha was Prophet Muhammad SAW asked her to put a perfume for him, yeah. So it is sunnah to put perfume. Try to put it on your body, not on your ihram clothing, yeah. So when you reach your miqat, means that is a place. Yes, Arbi. Unmute.
Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. I was always under the impression that when we're in the ihram, we can't have any sense. So now you're saying we have to put
You
on
can
perfume.
you must not have any sense only after the miqat.
After.
Only after you do your intention. That is when your umrah actually starts.
Okay.
Before
So
that, your umrah hasn't started yet, and it is a sunnah that Prophet Muhammad SAW, as I said, he in his very authentic hadith, he asked Aisha to put perfume on him, yeah,
Okay.
but not for the woman, only for the
okay,
men.
so when we're in Egypt and we're doing our ghusl, I can like use my Lynx shower gel, have all the scents I want. But the moment
Can use all your Burberry, Prada, perfumes, all this, whatever you want, right? Because
I'm Albanian,
you are
it's all
not in
fake.
your
It's
ihram conditions
Prada
yet.
and BlackBerry. We don't do original stuff.
Not
Just
Burberry. Use BlackBerry perfume.
There's a knockoff it was it's much cheaper.
Okay.
Ask get on me for samples, right?
So do you understand? Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Only at the miqat until, and the conditions last all the way until you shave or you cut your hair. Okay. Now, so you guys, Usama and Bilal, you will be going to, because you're going by bus, I assume, right?
Yes.
I don't think they're very generous to allow you to take by train, right? They get going bankrupt. You go by bus, I'm sure, all right? And then go to this Bir Ali. All you need to do is that if you're gonna wudu, take wudu. You do not need to have wudu all the time, but at the point of time, have wudu, inshallah, all right? In Bir Ali, this place, yeah. And then you do 2 raka'ah of Tahiyatul Masjid. There is no sunnah prayer before Umrah. People are doing this, but there's no authentic hadith regarding this. So your sunnah prayer is only the Tahiyatul Masjid, right? Not the sunnah before Umrah. Same thing as you and me, Arbi and Nile, right? On the plane, yes, there is a praying place, but there's no sunnah prayer before of the Umrah, right? The Umrah basically starts with the intention, right? So whether you are in Bir Ali or on the plane, our miqat place is about half an hour before we land in Jeddah. Yeah. So for you guys, Usama and Bilal, don't worry if everybody is in the on an aeroplane. Don't worry if people are in your ihram attire. You're not included. You're not involved, right? Because you're going to Medina first, isn't it true? Right? So you can do in whatever attire that you want. Okay. So let's start at the time. So assuming that you have done your ghusl, you have done you have shaved your pubic hair and your armpit hair, right? And I'll always remember, bring your fortress of the Muslim, right? Read the dua on a journey, isn't it true? It's a beautiful dua on the journey, on a plane, right? Always read because you want to have all those blessings and protection all the time. Read this beautiful dua, yeah, in the fortress of the Muslim, yeah. And then, assuming that all of us are now at the miqat place. So Bilal and Usama, as I said, after you do your Tahiyatul Masjid, then you say your intention, right?
Yeah.
Intention is from my notes. You can see Allahumma labaika umrah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
why
that's it.
do we say Allah? Okay, you did before, right, Usama? I'm going to test you, right? Why did you say Allahumma labaika umrah, which means, Ya Allah, here I am performing umrah?
Because you have to state that you're starting your umrah. That's your niyyah. That's your
I know it's
intention.
in, but what is the reason behind that?
I have no idea.
Okay, so this is quite important that we know, isn't it true? Then we feel from the heart why we're doing this, right? Because in Surah number 22, verse number 27, right? When Allah, because Ibrahim ﷺ just built the Kaaba, right? Allah ordered him, right, to go to proclaim to mankind to come to this place to perform Hajj, right?
Yeah.
And then Ibrahim ﷺ was confused. Proclaim, who's going to hear me, right? So Allah said, just shout out, they will come, right? So Ibrahim ﷺ went up to this high platform, high hill, and he just proclaimed to the people to come. The mountains lower themselves.
Wow.
The voices of Ibrahim go to the future, the progenies and future generations, right? That is why the first thing that we say, Allahumma labaika umrah. Ya Allah, here I am performing umrah. Here I am. You call me, or you call us through Ibrahim alayhi salam. I'm here answering to your call. So when you know
Okay.
this, it's quite significantly different, isn't it true?
Yeah. It means more.
Instead of being just very verbal and just memorizing it, at least now you know why you are doing this.
Yeah.
Right? That is why even the talbiyah, you said labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak, right? Saying again, here I am, well, here I am. So you're proclaiming again and again, Ya Allah, you call me, or you proclaim for people to come. I'm here answering to your call. Okay, so this is very significant because at the end of the day, we do need to move in terms of our knowledge, that we do need to know why we do certain things. Isn't it true?
Yes.
So for example, Bilal, now is your test, right? Since you did your Umrah when 11, what did you expose your right shoulder?
That's a very good question, Chef. I'm not too sure. Is it humbleness
Okay.
or is it something
Sorry?
like that? Is it to
You
be
what?
a sign of humbleness or something? I'm not too
No.
sure, to be honest.
So we were going, when we come across this, I will tell you inshallah again. Okay, so just remind me. Yeah. So again, ihram attire means that for men, right, especially, right, all of us are wearing the same thing, right? Whether you're from India, from China, from you're no more when you proclaim Allahumma labbaika umrah. You're no more Bilal, you're no more Nile, yeah, you're no more Arbi, you're no more Usama. You're just a slave of Allah, isn't it true? Everybody is the same. And this is you must have this feeling, because if not, you will lose the essence of your Umrah. It's not just about 7 rounds, tawaf. You have to understand the whole significance of it, right? That you are just a slave of Allah, full stop, and you're answering His call. That's why you are here, right? And by being with it in the same, and you're not even supposed to wear underwear, isn't it true?
Yeah.
Right. So nothing stitched. So now you can forget about your Gucci underwear, right? Leave it at home, right? Arabi, same thing, right? So again, it is the significance of it is just that everybody is the same, right? And this is why sometimes I don't like when people have the logo of the company, right? And what's the point of having these significance of this ihram when you have your company logo, isn't it true? And all this, right? It's not very good for the essence of the reasons why you're doing this. Yeah. Arabi questions?
Yeah, Ustad, I remember because I've I've re-listened to some of our lessons, and you mentioned that we have to wear a belt when we wear ihram.
Yes.
So surely, could we not just wear like a Gucci belt?
Yeah, but your Gucci belt is quite thin, you know. The thing might still fall down, and you know, but the belt's quite thick.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
But the belt is not part of the conditions, right? It means within the belt there's still some stitches there. It's fine, right? According to many scholars, it doesn't affect anything, right?
Okay. But we
Yes.
don't have to wear any particular type of belt. Like it can be any belt, right?
Yeah, but you should wear a belt, because if not, I've seen people that the lower thing, because in the Hajar Aswad, right, people were pushing here and they become naked, you know. So you must wear a belt to protect yourself. Trust me, right?
Fair enough.
Yes. Okay. So once you say this intention, Allahumma labbaika umrah. Sorry, Allahumma labbaika umrah. Your ihram conditions will start after this. Correct. Right. It will remain all the time until you cut your hair, shave your hair. Right. So let's revise again. What's the conditions of ihram? You must not.
Don't cut your nails.
Don't cut your nails.
Don't
Don't cut your
wear
hair. Right, but of course, if it's accidental, that means you're washing your hair, it come out, it's okay, right? But you know, yes. So those of you who have the habit of biting your nails, then if you were to do that, you will have to pay a compensation of sacrificing a sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Usama, got a problem?
No problem.
Biting nails?
But his bite his nails will start as soon as you said don't bite your nails.
I shouldn't have said that, right? Okay, so don't cut your hair, don't cut your nails, right? Other things, you cannot wear this, right? Nothing on your head. You can wear what do you call it? Umbrella or sunglasses, watch, you can wear this, right? But don't wear this on the head. Yeah. Other than that,
Don't watch your mouth.
yes, control your mouth. You should only say about things that are good, or read the Quran and read the stories of prophets, whatever it is. Yeah. Next one.
No.
Niall can't sleep with his spouses.
So no stitch things, right? So don't talk about good things first, all right? Talk about the stitching things, all right? The no stitch things, so that means no underwear. But you, as I said, you can have sandals that have stitches. It's not part of the thing, right? You can wear belt, yeah. Then after that, you need to expose your feet, right? The toes and your ankles, yeah. And no proposals now, right? No, if you like something, don't propose, right? In your ihram condition, so you need to sacrifice a sheep, right? And of course, if within husband and wife, there's no sexual intercourse, yeah, until you finish everything. Okay, you can kiss your wife, of course, right? Okay, so any questions? So this is the ihram conditions, right? Now the dua I've included here, right, is to be said just in case some people fall sick. They need to be in hospitals, or the brothers may not to take out ihram attire. If you were to say this, you do not need to sacrifice a sheep. If you don't say this, and somehow that you need to be out of ihram conditions, then you need to sacrifice a sheep. Okay, what is the dua? Okay, so the dua is this. Hold on, let me see. Okay, the dua is this: Fa'in habasani habisun famahilli haythu habastani. Right? If I'm prevented by any obstacle, my place is where I am held up. Right? So this is the dua, right, of the to say immediately after intention. Okay. Then immediately after this is your talbiyah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. Yeah, so make sure you know what it means. You need to say this again and again. It must not be in unison. That means you must not one person lead, the other follow. There's all innovations, right? You must do it individually. There's no hadith that Prophet Muhammad SAW lead, people follow. Now that there was another hadith where everybody say together, no, it must be individual, inshallah. Okay, of course, when you're tired, you sleep, right? Because especially for you guys, Bilal and Usama is a long journey, 5-6 hours.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas for us on the train, alhamdulillah, 2.5 hours we reach in a comfortable.
6 hours on the coach.
Yes, Bilal.
Oh.
That's why I say I couldn't count if we did your Umrah last time, because we were 11. It's pre-pubertal stage. You couldn't remember, right?
No.
So this is it for the train. This is, alhamdulillah, we are going on a train. Right? It's a bit more expensive, but it's worth it because 2.5 hours only. Yep. and a comfortable seat. If you're in business class, they serve food for you and all this. Yeah. Yeah. But usually on buses, you have to stop, isn't it? It's quite tiring for the bus driver. You need to stop because it's a very boring journey all the way straight, and that's why people may come into accidents because they feel sleepy and all this, right? So yeah, so on the car, if you travel on the car, it's about 4.5 hours. So bus a bit longer, of course, right? Maybe 6 hours around there. Yeah, from Mecca to from Medina to Mecca. Okay. Now, so when you reach your hotel in Mecca, right, then we will rest, right, and we will take a shower and all this if you wish. And always remember the thing which we forgot to mention about the conditions of ihram is that you must not wear perfume, right? So when you take a shower, your soap must be unscented. Even when you go to the toilet, do not use the soap that is in the hotel, or we must use your own soap, right? It's unscented. So be careful with this because it's a quite strict conditions about the soap that you use. Yeah. So yeah, so for us, Nal and Arabi, right? We will reach there about 1. Okay, don't forget this, right? Whatever it is, when you reach at the airport, right? Make sure that you buy your SIM card at the airport. It's very important, the SIM card. It's the easiest place to get, right? And one of the cheaper place to get, right? Because other than that, you want to concentrate on your worship, isn't it true, right? It does take some time because especially when a huge group of you, people usually buy the SIM cards at the airport. Yeah. So that's why make sure that your phones are not SIM locked. Yes, and you put your SIM card inside. It's very important, especially when you grow in your family. Sometimes people get separated. Yes, so you just need a mobile phone for each of you. Okay. So again, expect a lot of tests, right? Tests will come, right? This is where Allah will test whether you are really you understand what are the conditions of being patient in all this. Yeah, in your Umrah conditions, your bags somehow or other would not arrive, right? Bilal and Usama, I'm not saying this. Make dua that Allah will make your journey easy, but your bus may break down, which did in my part when I did before, right? Bus break down completely, right? Not for 1 hour, right? For many hours, right? So this is you do need exercise of patience and more patience, right? And this is part and parcel of things, right? Again, as I said, your bags may not arrive even left somewhere in Istanbul, for example, for you guys, right? So things might happen, right? Or even your hotels, your name is not there, it wasn't booked, right? Or you couldn't check in late. It's there at 4 o'clock. You cannot check in until 7 o'clock. Things might happen. Just need to be patient. One thing you must not say, right? Again, I've seen it. I've heard it with Americans and all this. They will say, "I paid in those days, right?" And when I went to 2006, Hajj, about 10,000 US dollars, very expensive, right? So they said, "I paid 10,000 US dollar for this Hajj. I expect everything to be smooth," right? So again, these are words of arrogance and all this. Yeah. So do be careful with the mouth, especially in the Holy Land. Things can happen very easily. So never say, "Don't worry," right? This place is so simple, very small. I can find you 100%, right? Whenever you say that, chances that you won't find your family is very high. It happens many times, right? So do be careful with your words, right? With what you say, because it will come back and bite you. Yeah. And this is the things that it happened. I've seen in front of my own eyes. It happens to many people. So do be careful, right? Again, another thing that we should be careful also. If of course, all of us have our own shortcomings, isn't it true? Some people like to shop. Some people like to swear. So make dua to Allah, right? To hide all your shortcomings, right? Some people are just perpetually late, right? Pakistanis, right? Indonesians, Malaysians, very late, right? Or some people just want to go shopping. right? Shop, especially the women, right? So you do need to control your woman, right? Because very important, right? And as I said to everybody, yeah, this is not a holiday. It's not a holiday. It is an act of worship, isn't it true? Right?
Yeah.
If holiday, yes, you can lie down on the beach, right? Suntan lotion, right? Relax, right? Take your time, eat a lot. But this is the act of worship, right? In the sense that we should spend more time worshiping Allah, isn't it true? Rather than eat. I mean, I'm sure you have seen, right, in the YouTube videos and all this, or TikTok videos, people go to this place, that place. For me personally, it's not even an excursion. It should be an excursion, right? Because you go down there to, well, to recharge your battery, isn't it true? Right? To recharge your iman, inshallah, right? I don't find at all the significance of going to even Ta'if, right? Because what is the reward of praying one obligatory prayer in the Masjid Haram?
200,000.
100,000.
100,000.
100,000. Isn't it true? If you were to go to Ta'if, yes, amazing place, very cool and all this, but you will lose how many 100,000s because you may have to miss 2 or 3 prayers. Isn't it true? It's
Yeah.
quite a big distance, right? I want to go there because I want to go there to worship Allah, right? I saw people going down to a very far place to visit this, visit that, you know, subhanallah. So we do need to know our priority, that when Allah invite us there, we go there with the intention to improve ourselves. That means to spend that time worshiping Allah, which means, brothers, and I'll say this with the full sincerity, right? Try to wake up for tahajjud, inshallah. Isn't it true? Right? You don't need to have 8 hours of sleep, inshallah, right? Because 8 hours sleep here in UK, right? Then don't go there, right? Well, go down there. You do need to wake up when Allah is at the lowest heaven, right? And listening to us, answering to our dua, inshallah. So wake up early, perhaps 2 hours before Fajr, go to tahajjud, right? Even after tahajjud, right? And then you do your Fajr prayer. Then some people can wait. We can pray even our Ishraq prayer, isn't it true? What of Ishraq prayer, Usama? Ishraq prayer? Okay, Ishraq prayer is a prayer that is done after sunrise. So let's say about 15 minutes after sunrise, right?
Yeah.
So, but the condition is that you cannot, okay, after Fajr, take out your mobile phone, WhatsApp people and all this. No, you do need to read the Quran, do dhikr and all this, all the way until sunrise.
Yeah.
15 minutes, you just pray 2 raka'ah Ishraq. What is the reward? Hajj or Umrah. Huge reward, right? That's why I said it's very important that down there we focus on worshipping Allah, full stop. Alhamdulillah, of course, you can buy your thobes. I advise you to buy thobes. Thobes is very cheap there. Thobes, perfumes, very, very cheap, inshallah, right? Go and buy, but do it. No, don't spend a lot of time doing that. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's very important that you focus. All of us focus on acts of worship, inshallah, right? So, any questions? Yeah. So be prepared for Allah's tests, right? Allah's test for me personally always brings out the best in you, inshallah, right? For me, if not for Allah's testing me in many occasions in the past, I won't be like this, right? So it is a blessing that Allah tests us, alhamdulillah. Yes, Arbi?
Sorry, could you remind me when you said the Ishraq prayer takes place?
Ishraq prayer is the time, you see, after Fajr prayer, right? You are at your place. Some people want to do tawaf, it's up to you, right? But as long as you're in the mosque, inshallah, right, until sunrise. But you know we cannot pray at sunrise, right? Because it's one of the forbidden times to pray. But wait until about 10-15 minutes after sunrise, then you pray 2 raka'ah, right? Then after that, then you go back, then have our breakfast, inshallah.
Inshallah.
That sounds quite similar to Salat al-Duha.
Yes, it is part of duha, right? But there's another part of duha, means you do not need to be in the mosque until from Fajr to sunrise, right? You just sleep whatever it is after Fajr, then wake up, and then when the sun is about 1/6 up, risen, then you can pray duha prayer of 2 or 4 raka'ah. But the reward is completely different. That reward,
Okay.
because there's a lot of effort, is Hajj or Umrah. That reward is for
And
hadith goes where Prophet ﷺ said that the body has 360 joints. Every joint glorify Allah, and praying 2 rak'ah is enough, yeah, to simulate this, right? The glorification of Allah. So
Ustad,
much less reward.
quick question.
Much less.
Much less. How can it be the same and glorification of Allah than the Umrah and Hajj? Isn't it true? Very different. Yes.
Is there 3 times where you can do Doha prayer? So the
Yes.
first one is Ishraq.
How do you know? Did you remember what I said?
You told me like this like 12 times. I remember a bit of it.
Yeah, I'm just testing. Yes, the first one is called Ishraq.
Yeah.
The second one is the Duha normal prayer. The last one is like for example 1 hour before the Dhuhr. They call it Awabin.
Okay.
But but the second and third one is same reward, inshallah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Ishraq also
you were
has the
saying-
joint reward as well, right? As well as the Umrah Hajj.
Yes. So if you did do Ishraq, you do not need to do another Duha. You've covered it already. Okay.
But does the first Ishraq prayer have the most value?
Yes,
Yeah.
because you wrote Hajj and Umrah, right? And this is why, brothers, and I say this especially to myself, I always make dua to Allah, Ya Allah, grant me more energy to please you. Isn't it true? Because
Yeah.
especially in like Ramadan, isn't it true? You must be amazed how come we can pray so much in Ramadan, right? We can do it without any time. Same thing as Umrah, right? Make dua to Allah to grant you less energy, more energy, and less time to hide all your shortcomings, right? And less time to waste in all this, right? So again, very important to ask Allah to grant us this, yeah, energy and good health, of course, yeah, to please Him. Okay. Now, assuming now that we are ready, right? We have checked in the hotels, right? And we are now ready to go down, right? This is when, for the brothers, right? You do need to expose your right shoulder, right? Yes, Osama?
Ustad, I apologize, but I'm gonna have to leave now, yeah, because I have to do some stuff with my housemates. 9
It's
p.m.
okay.
Yeah, but
Don't worry.
Jazakallah khair so
Why,
much for
yeah.
the
All right.
call. Now was telling me that you do another session in person on Saturdays.
On Sunday, inshallah.
Oh, on
No,
Sunday.
Saturday to start. Just the normal lessons on Saturday.
Or Saturday, yes. Saturday
Um,
is in the mall, Central Mosque, yes.
Yes, inshallah, I'm gonna be joining with you on
Oh,
Saturdays.
looking forward to see you,
Yeah.
inshallah.
Okay. So thank you very much, brothers.
No
Bilal.
problem. If you need anything, Nal is the expert. You can ask
Assalamu
Nal,
alaikum.
right? He'll
Okay.
tell you everything that I say, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
but you do need to have lessons, inshallah. Okay. So if you cannot answer you, I'll help you, inshallah. Okay.
I will do. I'll get in contact with you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
No
Assalamu
problem.
alaikum.
Salam.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Okay.
The shoulders. Why
Yeah,
do
shoulders, right?
shoulders?
To answer your questions, right, Bilal, right? Why do you expose your right shoulder, right? In the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was doing the Hajj, I think, right? Hajj, yeah. The enemies were making fun of the Muslims. They said the Muslims are so weak, right? They're so sick. Then Allah informed Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam regarding this, and he said, "Oh, we are not weak, right?" So he ordered the men to expose the right shoulder to show muscles. Right, that is why it is sunnah for the brothers for the 3 rounds you have a slow jog, isn't it true? Or to do the brisk walk, right? And so this is to show muscles literally. That's why Nal was in the gym, Abby was in the gym, right?
Bilal's my teacher when it comes. Bilal's my gym ustad. You know that.
And we will compare triceps and biceps in Egypt, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay, so that's why you expose your right shoulder. Okay, that's why also right shoulder, because you're going anti-clockwise, right? Unless you're Pakistanis, of course, you go clockwise directions. Then it's different, isn't it?
Also, ustad, isn't it because of ailments to show that we don't have any ailments as well? Strength and
Yeah. So because show strength and health and all this and vigor, yeah. And male, only for the males, not for the females. So if you're with your family, always be careful. I know. Sorry, Bilal, what is your culture, race?
Originally Pakistani, but
Okay.
alhamdulillah, my family, even my parents are born here, so they're not
Okay.
too cultural.
I know there is this tendency of some of the Asians to show your feet, right? But according to majority of scholars, it is advisable to cover your feet, right?
No.
So that means to wear socks, yeah, and make sure they cover everything. So all have, so you need to check each other, yeah, your wife and all this, yeah, that they cover every single strand of hair, yeah. The thing that you can show is just the face and this thing, right? Even this, as you know, some of the shirts or the female clothing, this can go down, isn't it true? Right? So this need to be tight. Get something to tight and all this, right? So it doesn't go down when it go without the hand. It's very important, yeah, for ihram condition, yeah. Now, so when we go down from the hotel, right, then we still say our talbiyah, right, and then we will go to the haram. So before that, make sure you carry with you your bag, sling bag, right? In your bag, you will carry because you will put your slippers in this bag. So carry an extra plastic bag to put your slippers in your bag. You carry an empty water bottle because you will need to fill up your water bottle with Zamzam water, yeah. And of course your nose and mobile phone. So don't bring too much money because it might be stolen, right? So this is important, yeah, that we bring your small bag, yeah, when you go for your Umrah, inshallah. So Bilal, yours is convention, yeah. So you will almost your entry is almost the same as ours, nearby, right? Our hotel, yeah. Then when you enter the mosque, yeah, the dua is this dua here that we have, yeah, that we say when we enter any mosque. So a'udzu billahil azim wa biwajhihil karim wa sultanihil qadim minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillah. Assalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Allahumma ftah li abwaaba rahmatik. Yeah. So when you say this, right, and then after that, so you can bring the notes, can bring anything, right? It doesn't mean you need to memorize. Yeah, bring your guidebook, whatever it is you have, right, and then you read from here. So there's nothing much to memorize. Yeah. So once you enter the Masjid al-Haram, right, make sure that you know where you enter because you always enter where is nearest to your hotel. That means when you exit, you should exit from the same entrance so that you don't have to go one big round, right? So I know, Bilal, you may remember, right, Bilal, the Safa Marwa, right?
Yeah.
Now there's an exit in Marwa. Never exit from there because it bring you one big round and you may get confused, right? Always go back to so once the Safa Marwa is there, come back to the what do you call it, the Kaaba, exit from the same place where you enter, and that saves a lot of time, inshallah. Okay.
Inshallah.
Now, so after you fill up once you enter, fill up the water bottles with Zamzam water, right? The dua we're going to go through after this, inshallah, later when you drink Zamzam water, and then you walk. Now this is where even I do not know what's going to happen, in the sense that because of the renovations and constructions and all this, they might divert you to here, then all this. I do not know, right? So just follow the directions, inshallah, right, until you come across, hopefully, right, at the courtyard there, right? Again, be patient because sometimes they close here, this entrance, close that entrance, right? So, but hopefully you end up in the courtyard, inshallah, right? So do remember, as I said last time, right, I have with me the sample of the Kaaba, okay? So if you enter, if let's say you enter by this way, right? As you're walking to the Kaaba, your tawaf has not started yet, okay? So this, as you know, this Hajar Aswad corner. This is the beginning of the tawaf, right? But before that, when you see the Kaaba for the first time in my notes, right, there is this dua in number 2 upon seeing Kaaba for the first time. Allahumma zid hadal baita tashrifan wa ta'ziman wa takriman wa mahabatan wa zid man syarafahu wa karamahu mimman hajjahu aw i'tamarahu tashrifan wa ta'ziman wa takriman wa birra. Allahumma antas salam wa minkas salam fa hayyina rabbana bisalam. Right? Again, no need to memorize, just read from your notes, inshallah. Yeah. Then after that, you make dua, whatever things that you want to make dua. Again, if you are there for the first time, it is a very emotional thing, right? Everybody reacts differently. If you happen not to cry, don't panic. Doesn't mean that you love Allah less. It's just that you are emotionally stunted, right? So that means that means don't worry, right? You will cry later, inshallah. It always, I mean, for me personally, it's good to cry, isn't it true? It shows that, you know, a lot of remorse, right? A lot of reflections of your past, the mistakes, right? I remember when I saw Kaaba for the first time, I was so scared, right? And the tears were flowing and all this, yeah. So, and if you cry, right? Don't be embarrassed of crying because everybody's around you, right? Because when you go down there, it's only between you and Allah, right? Again, the first thing that you need to do is, of course, to be grateful to Allah, isn't it true? Yeah, for inviting you and me to the place. Not everybody is invited. Only those whom He wants to invite will be invited. Okay. Now, so then, as I said just now, so make that dua when you say Kaaba for the first time. Then make your own dua. If you think that you're so emotional you cannot remember the dua, write your dua on a piece of paper. And then once you can't reach that place, take out the list and just make the dua. Right? Always remember the etiquette of making dua. What's the first thing that you need to say now?
You glorify Allah.
Yes, by saying Alhamdulillah. You praise Allah, right? Saying Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah. Then after that,
then you
salam to the Prophet.
yes, Allahumma salli wa sallam ala Nabi Muhammad. Yeah. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because if not, your dua will be suspended. Right? Number 3.
Do we have to say Nabi Muhammad, or can we just say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad?
Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Nabi. That's up to you, right? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad, whatever it is you remember, right? Even if you can't remember, do it in Arabic, just in English. Ya Allah, bless Muhammad and his family, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? Now, then after that, what do you do?
I ask for forgiveness.
Ask for forgiveness, especially using the dua of
Yunus.
Yunus alayhi salam in surah number?
AE 127.
Surah number 2187.
2187. Yeah.
Right? La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin. Yeah, because hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that anybody who starts with this dua of forgiveness of Yunus alayhi salam, yeah, the dua will be accepted. Yeah. So you can, of course, you can use any other dua, astaghfirullah, yeah, but this is the best dua as an etiquette of making dua. Then after that,
Allah's names.
yes, using Allah's names. Most important name is
Allah.
Yeah, so Ya Allah, Ya Rab,
Ya Rab.
and then whatever things that you need to say. So make sure you know this, you remember this etiquette, right? Don't just say, oh, I want 2 wives, I want this, I want 3 wives, right? So make sure you know the etiquette first. Yeah, say the etiquette, inshallah, right? So okay, so we finish all this. Then we're going to start at the
Ustad,
yes.
I'm just going to ask a quick question. So, you know how there's a dua before entering Masjid al-Haram, a dua upon seeing the Kaaba. Are we meant to practice the etiquette when we say these dua as well? So, like, when we enter Masjid al-Haram, we say, Ya Allah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, you say the dua? Or is it just when you make your personal dua that you...
Yeah, so just when you make it is personal dua.
Okay, thank you.
Because we do not see or hear any evidence that, for example, when you do wudu, right, all this, right, there's a dua, is intro, I should Allah and all this, yeah. We never hear Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam talk about praising Allah and all this. Just say the dua, right? But when making personal dua, yes, right.
I've always wondered about this. Thank you.
Yeah, because especially for seeing the Kaaba for the first time, we haven't made dua before, isn't it true? I mean, as in personal dua, right? So make sure this is the first personal dua. But after that, you did not repeat again, because at all times you were glorifying Allah, isn't it true? At all times you were praising Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, isn't it true? Right? So very important to say this only at the part, right? Of course, it's up to you when you come to multazam later. After you can repeat all over again, but you need not if you do not want to. Okay. Now, so again, as I said, if for our entrance, as I said, right? Again, this depends on where they block the places and all this. Usually for our entrance, is we always come from the back part of the Kaaba. This is the front or the back, right? So when we make our way to the starting point, right? This is the starting point. On the wall, there's a green light, right? And this is where you start your tawaf. You say, what do you say? Bismillah,
Bismillah.
Allahu Akbar, right? So you point to the Hajar Aswad, right? Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and you continue. You do not need to stop. Just continue. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and continue walking. Again, as in the dua, as in my notes, right? It's a sunnah to start at least at the first time. You say Allahumma imanan bika wa tasdiqan bi kitabika wa wafa'an bi ahdika wa tiba'an li sunnati nabiyyika Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? So make sure you know the meaning, inshallah, right? Again, for the men, you jog or brisk walk for the first 3 rounds. So when you go here, right, the corner before the Hajar Aswad corner is the Yamani corner. If you're close by, you can just rub. This is exposed part at the bottom part here, right? If you're close, you can just rub. If not, continue. And when you continue, you say Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Isn't it true? Once, twice, up to you, until you reach this part again, and you say again, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Okay, so this is your tawaf. So 1, 2, 3. Exactly. When you do come to cross this, exactly say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. When you come across after the Yamani corner, say Rabbana atina fid dunya. Yeah, correct. So 7 rounds. So 1, 2, 3. Brisk walk or jog. Then walk normally. 4, 5, 6, 7. And you end up with Hajar Aswad corner, and you still say at the last part, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, to end your tawaf. Tawaf must be in wudu. If you don't have wudu, you need to do your wudu. If you pass wind, and then start all over again from round number 0. Right? If you forget, there's some opinions. Some people say you stop by you can start where you stop, which rounds, but I mean, to be on the safe side, you start from 0. But if you are confused, is it tawaf round number 3 or number 4? Always choose a lower number, right? And continue with that lower. So when it says 3 or 4, don't choose 4. Is it 3 or 4? Okay, I think it's 3. So choose that lower number, not the higher number. Okay. So once you finish this, according to the notes, right, you walk past the Makam Ibrahim is just here in front here, just right quite near the door of the Kaaba. You will say wattakhidhu min maqami Ibrahima musalla. Correct? And then this is where you remind each other when you pray 2 raka'ah, you will cover your shoulder, right? And first raka'ah, right, you pray Al-Fatiha and Al-Kafirun. Second raka'ah, you pray Al-Fatiha and Al-Ikhlas. Questions? Right?
No, sorry.
So
please
don't.
stop for a moment. When do you do the prayers?
So what? You finish your rounds, isn't it true?
Yep.
And then you pass by the Makam Ibrahim, you say wattakhidhu min maqami Ibrahima musalla, and then you pray. Right? So make sure you don't pray where you are interfering with the tawaf. Go a bit behind so that you are more relaxed. Right?
Is there a specific part where you pray?
As long as you see, you can see the front of the mall, the Kaaba here. Okay, so can be here, can be here, can be anywhere. Right? Again, as long as you do not interfere with the people doing tawaf. In some prayer times, the tawaf, the round, the people doing tawaf can be big round, big circle, as you know, right? So that means a big circle, then you must pray a bit more behind. Right? Okay. So
the when you do the prayer, it just has to be facing the Kaaba. Does it have to be facing the Multazam or just the Kaaba?
The Kaaba, yes. Unless you want to face New York, it's up to you.
I like New York.
You want to face Tirana, right?
Oh, big up. Ustad, pull out the eagle, Ustad.
Okay. Yeah. So this finish this, right? Then is a dua facing Multazam. Where's Multazam? It is here, right? In between the door of the Kaaba and the Hajar Aswad, it's called Multazam. In the days of Prophet Muhammad SAW, when it's not so crowded, people would come from the place they pray. They just come here and then they will cling on to this, put their cheek on the thing. But now, because it's so crowded, you don't need to do this from where you stand after your prayer. Yep, or when you sit, just raise up your hand and make dua. Yeah, whatever things that you want to make. Yeah, for this Multazam. Okay, and then after that is your Zamzam water. Yeah, this is where you take out your bottle of Zamzam water, isn't it true? So you do not need to search for Zamzam water because it's in your bottle, in your bag. Yeah. Then the dua is Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafian wa rizqan wasian wa shifa min kulli da'in. Okay, so this ends your tawaf. Questions?
I've got a quick one. I'm
Yes.
looking at the notes right now, and it says number 5, other recitations. Subhanallah wa
Yeah, so in your tawaf, right?
Mhm.
I would always glorify Allah first, isn't it true?
Yeah.
Right? And the glorification that Allah loves the most is Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, and all this, right? These four
Okay.
things that beloved to Allah.
Okay.
So before I ask anything from Allah, when even I'm doing my first round, I would always want to thank Allah first for inviting me there, isn't it true? Right?
Mhm.
So I just don't go straight to the dua first.
Okay. So
Okay.
when we're doing all 7 rounds, whenever we can, just do dhikr,
Again, and dua, of course. This is what
Okay.
I encourage you, and I've already ordered the books for the dua books, inshallah, from my students who went to Mecca. Hopefully, he come back with a book, right? At the same time, I have also forwarded to you that on the online the dua that you can recite, inshallah, in English. We do not understand the Arabic, inshallah. Okay.
So when we're doing the tawaf, the only thing that we do is the Bismillah here, Allahu Akbar, the Rabbina Athinya, and we do the Subhanallah. We don't do dua during the tawaf, do we?
Now we do dua all the time.
Even when we're doing the tawaf.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the main part of one of the best part to make dua and all the answer is doing a tawaf, right? Or else what you gonna say when you're walking is intro, right?
So
This when
Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar.
yeah, but you want to ask Allah for same things that you want, isn't it true? Your
Okay,
third wife and fourth wife and all this, right?
Standard.
You got a first one, Ustad.
Okay, inshallah. Me dua for your first one, inshallah.
And
Okay,
dua,
so
but
you
the
do make
first
your
one was the
dua.
second one.
Yeah, don't forget about dua in your tawaf. Yeah. Now, finish, right? So next stage is yours. Okay, again, as I said before, if you get lost, don't worry, right? Because we always with each other at the last round. We try to kiss the black stone at the last round, inshallah, right? Before we do the salah. And secondly, we wait for each other at the green light, right? Remember in your WhatsApp group, I posted you where the green light is, yeah? So just wait for us there before you go to the sa'i. Sa'i, as I said, literally, if you look from here, right? This is Safa. From this side, 45 degrees Safa, this Marwa here. So somewhere around there, right? So don't worry, inshallah, it's quite straightforward. Then you go to your, so the next stage, you do not need to be in your wudu, but of course, right, because you may want to recite the Quran, you want to make dua, it's good to be in your wudu. Right? If you don't want to be a wudu, it doesn't invalidate your umrah. Okay. Now, so again, in my notes, right, as you can see, this is the people are confused in this, right? When you come up the slope to this Safa, right? There is this dua, Inna Safa wal Marwata min sya'airillah, faman hajjal baita aw i'tamara fala junaha ala an yatawafa bihima wa man tatawakha fa inna Allah syakirun alim. Yeah, this is from Surah Al-Baqarah, right? So when you go up the slope, you recite this. Go up. Once you're on top, then you recite in number what 11 is it or 12, right? Nabda'u, or your is abda'u, right? Bima bada Allahu bi, right? We begin with Allah begin with, and this is only recited once, right? Then is your takbir, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli syai'in qadir, la ilaha illallah wahdah, anjaza wa'dah, wa nasara 'abdahu wa hazama al-ahzaba wahdah. Yeah, you recite the whole thing once, and then you make your own dua. Face the Qibla. So Safa is here, right? As I said, when make dua, face here, right? This is your Kaabah. They make one dua, then repeat the whole thing again. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, until the whole thing finish. Recite the second dua, repeat again, and recite the third dua. You have not moved yet. You are still in Safa. Okay? Then you go down the slope, right, and walk to the other side. And about 50 meters, as I showed you pictures, yep. But the green light is on top. For 50 meters for the men, a brisk walk or slow jog, because this is when Hajjah was looking for water. And always remember this, right, brothers? In terms of difficulties, and this is where you do need to picture yourself in Hajjah's position, right? When you are in difficulties, always trust Allah, isn't it true? Right? When you have trust Allah, you will be able to continue with what perhaps Allah is testing you a lot, right? But still trust Allah, and things will be resolved, inshallah, right? So this is when you run and all this, don't just run, but think about how Hajjah was feeling in those days, right? What happened to her?
She was left in the desert by Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam
with Ismail, isn't it true?
Ismail, yeah.
Ismail was such a young child, right?
Yeah. Well, only with a few provisions, and then
no water at all. There's no, as in there's no natural water to find. There's no trees. It's all desert. Can you imagine you're in that position and you're tested by Allah, right? Again, this is where all of us are tested by Allah in many different ways, isn't it true? Right? But we still need to understand who Allah is. He's our Rabb. He is going to provide. And again, so very important to understand how Hajjah feels, right? Being patient and all this. Yeah. So okay, so the whole thing, as I said, Safa Marwa is about 450 meters. Once you reach the other side, it's called Safa, Marwa, the other side, right? And then you come up the slope, right? Once you come up the slope, again, the same thing from the Quran, Inna Safa wal Marwata until the end, yeah? Once you reach the top, the takbir, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar until the end, 3 times again. In between this is a dua. Okay? And then you come on the slope again, and then you walk back to Safa. So from Safa to Marwa, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you end up in Marwa. Okay, then after that, the last stage is, of course, we call it a tahlul. Tahlul means that either you cut or you shave the hair. We know from a hadith that if you shave the hair, we get the dua of Allah's mercy from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam 3 times. If you cut the hair only once. Okay, so Bilal, you're going to cut or shave your hair?
Shave it, sorry.
Shave, inshallah. Yeah.
Inshallah.
Okay.
That's better.
Until you shave the hair, so that means the shaving hair is quite near our hotel, right? In the Tawheed, right? It's quite near there. Until you shave the hair, you have not finished your Umrah. So you do need to control everything, right? So until you finish, that's it, right? Then it's done and dusted. Then you can go back and take a shower and all this. Yeah. So what do you do every day in Mecca? So for me personally, most important thing is to do this thing called a sunnah tawaf. That means you go down there, right? For example, Fajr is about, I think about 5:30. Yeah. You go there earlier, right? Maybe 1 hour before. Intention to do a sunnah tawaf. 7 rounds. The procedure is exactly the same. 7 rounds, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then after that, pray 2 rak'ah. That's my sunnah tawaf, right? Again, a lot of dua is answered, inshallah, right? So this is what I would do most of the time. I would do at least 2 or 3 tawaf in a day, inshallah. Yeah. But however, as I said, because of these restrictions of the Saudi, yeah, of the Haram people, right? We are, as far as I know, right? We cannot. If you want, for me, I see no point doing a tawaf on the 2nd floor or 3rd floor, right? But the restrictions now is this, right? If they only allow people to do tawaf next to the Kaaba when you are in your ihram attire, that means when you're doing Umrah. So when I went to October, we have to pretend to do Umrah. That means we have to all the time to wear our ihram attire in order to do our tawaf. Because subhanallah, you will see the difference if you pray inside the mosque or in the courtyard. The adhan is different, the imams, the sound is different, the feeling is very different, right? It is worth it, right? To be in your ihram attire, right? To be able to pray just next to the Kaaba. Okay, So this is important that for only for this period. Hopefully they take away this restriction soon, inshallah. Right. So this is it, right? So that means we may have to book our umrah every day, right? Because if they don't see, sometimes it depends on their mood. Sometimes they see your booking, sometimes they don't see your booking, right? And this is important. So if you want to do a second umrah, right? Some scholars say yes, some scholars say no. I take the position of that you can do a second umrah, right? You go to the mosque called Masjid Aisha in the place called Tanaim, right? So in that mosque again, you just do the title masjid, 2 raka'ah. After say salam, then you do your intention, Allahumma labbaika umrah, and the whole thing will start all over again, right? In Mecca also, you can visit these few places like the Arafah, where you have the Jabal Rahmah, where Adam and Hawa first met when they were brought down to the earth, right? That's why this is well, your Pakistani culture again, right? Would think that you can find your mate there, right? Some people do the graffiti and all this, and they do this all, and so do be careful if you want to do this, right? But a lot of markets there, so people selling things out there. So we go to there, inshallah, to visit. For the brothers, I advise you to for once in your life, go up the mountains called Jabal Nur, where Prophet Muhammad SAW had his first revelation, right? You should go there after Fajr, inshallah, because it's quite hot in the day, right? So take advantage of the early hours and then come back by about 8 or 9 o'clock, inshallah, right? Can rest. Any questions?
No. I've got a quick one, Ustad.
Yes.
This is about the Sunnah Tawaf. When we do the Sunnah Tawaf, do we have to do 7 rounds or do we?
Yeah, 7 rounds. 7 rounds and 2 rak'ah. That's it. No
Okay.
sa'i. Yes.
No sa'i. And let's say we do a second umrah. Do we
Yes.
shave our heads again?
Yes.
Nice.
Your hair can grow within 1 day. Don't worry, inshallah.
Okay, cool. No, just had to ask it. And I've got one last question, if you don't mind, Ustad.
Yep.
Okay, so you know when we do the recitation at Safa, we do the dua 3 times,
Yes.
and we go up and down Safa 7 times.
Yes.
Do we do the recitation again 3 times, or is that it?
Yes. All the time.
Okay. And when you're going up and down Safa, do we just like make? Do we make dua?
Only up the Safa or Marwa, we say the Quranic recitation, Inna Safa wal Marwata, inshallah. When we go down, we don't say anything.
Sorry, could you repeat that one more time, Ustad?
Okay, only when you go up Safa or go up Marwa, then you say the I think number 11, right? Inna Safa wal Marwata min sha'irillah faman hajjal bayta, and all this until the end, right?
I thought that's okay. Fair enough. Okay, so you before you begin Safa, or before you begin the sa'i, you do the recitation at the foot of Safa,
Yes.
and then we begin the recitation. Abda'u bima bada Allahu bihi.
Yes.
Then we do the 3
Takbir.
recitations.
Yes.
We go down Marwa.
Yes. Down Safa, right?
Down Safa, sorry.
Yes.
And then when we go up to
Marwa.
Marwa,
Then we go up the slope. You say Inna Safa wal Marwata again.
and then we do the same thing again. We say Abda?
Except you don't repeat the Abda'u. They only recite it once. Yes.
But the recitations, the takbir, you do that every
The same,
single time.
exactly the same, 3 times.
So you'll be doing this in total 21 times. The takbir. Okay.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Okay. Now, lastly, Medina, right? In Medina, there's no special ritual, right? Most important thing that we try to pray our obligatory prayers in the Masjid Nabawi. Isn't it true? Right? The reward is
10,000.
1,000.
1,000.
1,000, right? And then try to book as many times as possible if you can, right? To pray in the Rawdah, right? It is a long queue, quite irritating. But especially like in those days, we came at the time of the Prophet's birthday. Can you imagine? All these Pakistanis and all these Indonesians, they want to celebrate the Prophet's birthday. They were in Medina. It was so full, completely full, quite irritating. But alhamdulillah, hopefully when we go there is so you need to book it earlier, right? Maybe 1 or 2 weeks before this Rauda slot, right? The nusuk. Don't forget now to give to the other brothers about the nusuk app.
I've sent them the app anyway. Don't worry, I'll start.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so again, so there is also an ability for you and me to send salam or to say salam to the grave of to where Prophet Muhammad is buried, right? So it's always a long queue. People want always to salam to him. So when you pass so let's say this is the front of this. Let's say this is the mosque, right? Right. This is the front of the mosque. This is the back of the mosque, right? Front, back, right? The dome is on this side, on the left side. You're looking for the Qibla is here. Let's say, right? So always enter from this, they call Babu Salam, the front door, right? Then there's a long procession. As you walk along here, right? The first grave that you see is the grave of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then the grave of Abu Bakar, and the grave of Umar. You always say, well, you can say many things. You can say Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And this is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can say Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah. It's up to you, right? Abu Bakar, Assalamu alayka ya Abu Bakar, Assalamu alayka ya Umar. No need to be so elaborate. No need to cry, and make dua there, because the Prophet can never help us. Isn't it true? It's only Allah can help us. He can, inshallah, we ask him to give us the intercession. Even then, when do we ask what we can do in order to ask Prophet Muhammad to grant us intercession?
There's like 7 ways or something, no, Ustad?
No.
There's quite a few. Like whenever there's the adhan.
The adhan, yes, right. That's the main thing, right?
Yeah.
When the adhan comes, when you make dua after adhan, it is inshallah to give us ability to get his intercession, inshallah, on the day of judgment, right? So this is the main thing. So not making dua like that or to him, this doesn't make sense, right? We need more dua than him, isn't it true? So very important, just after salah and so after adhan, make the dua, inshallah. Another thing that I forgot to say is that after every obligatory prayers, both in Mecca and Medina, there is always a janazah prayer, funeral prayer, right? You will need to know how to do the funeral prayer, right? So in general, right, I'm not going to pass judgment, right? Talking about the most common sunnah is that you only lift up the hand on the first takbir, Allahu Akbar, isn't it true? Right? And then what do you say? In general, authentic hadith is the easiest ones. There are a few methods that you can say. The easiest method is to say Al-Fatiha until Walad Dalin Amin after the first takbir. Right? Second takbir, when Imam say Allahu Akbar, you do not need to raise up your hand. It's the most common or most authentic narration. Don't raise up your hands, right? But you say Allahu Akbar too, right? And then after that, again, there are a few things to say, but most important thing and for me, the most easiest thing to remember is to say your tashahhud starting from the second beat, yeah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad, yeah, until the end, innaka hamidun majid, until the end. Okay, this is the second takbir. Third takbir, again, Allahu Akbar, Imam raise up the hand. We don't raise up the hand. Just say Allahu Akbar. And then we make dua for the deceased. If you do not know, just say in English and all this, right? But try to say something, right? We can even say Rabbana atina fid dunya and all this, right? Dua for the deceased. Last takbir, right? Either you say nothing at all, or just say dua for the general Muslim ummah. So there are 4 takbir, right? The salam, it is a sunnah to say salam only on the right side, not right and left. As you can see from people here in UK, right? It is a sunnah to say salam only on the right side. Okay? So I repeat again, right? After every obligatory prayer, there's always janazah. You just need to differentiate between the janazah prayer of the adult and the children. What's the difference in adult and children? The dua? Do you know? The adult, of course, you ask Allah for forgiveness, isn't it true? But the children, because inshallah, they automatically going to enter Jannah, isn't it true? Then your dua is more towards that, may Allah grant the parents patience, may the child be able to intercede for the parents and all this. Right? So for the adults, about forgiveness, for the children, to ask Allah to grant them ability to intercede for the parents. Okay, questions? Harbi? Unmute.
Oh, sorry, Ustad, this is related and not exactly relevant. Is it true that, say, if a child passes away, that before they enter Jannah, that they'll be waiting by the gates with Prophet Ibrahim? I've heard something like that one time.
No, so when a child passes away, right, now they are playing outside the gardens of Jannah with Ibrahim now, right? And every day Allah will ask the children to enter Jannah. And the children will always say, no, we will only enter Jannah when we hold our parents' hands. Okay? So this is the situation now.
Thank you, Ustad.
Okay? Now, so this is the janazah prayer. Yeah, I just forgot to mention it a little bit. Now, in Medina also, we go to several places. Most important is the Quba Mosque. What is been the Quba Mosque, Bilal?
I think we did to put on the ihram again.
No.
No? Was it not that Masjid al-Quba?
No.
Somewhere else?
No.
I can't remember. I apologize.
You only put on the ihram in Bir Ali just now before you go to Umrah, isn't it true?
Correct,
and then you can just go in normal attire. What is the Quba Mosque now?
It's the first masjid in Medina, the one with the camel, no? Didn't the camel, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ let the camel go and then it sat down or it chose the area to build the mosque? Is that the one?
Yeah, that's the one. Yes. Yeah. There are two camel stories anyway.
Yeah, not the red one.
Okay, so yeah, so this, but more importantly, is about the first mosque that was built, right? When Prophet Muhammad went for did his hijrah, this was the first mosque that was built, even before Nabawi, right, in Medina. So that's why the reward of praying in this mosque is the reward of?
So as if you're praying in Jannah if you do 2 sunnah. Is that the one? The gate.
Completely innovation. What did I say?
God, I don't remember.
The reward of just bring Tahiyatul Masjid in this mosque of Quba is the reward of 1 Umrah.
Oh yeah.
Right, so it's important that we visit this mosque at least once, if not twice, inshallah. When we
go out a mosque and then go back in a mosque, and you do shit again.
You're like the people that fish, you know. Okay. Yeah. So this is Quba, right? So important to visit that. The next one is Masjid Qiblatan, Masjid of 2 Qibla. Why?
Jerusalem Qibla. And then
so this was a mosque in which Prophet Muhammad was praying Asar prayer. Then the revelation was revealed for him to change the Qibla direction from Masjid al-Haram, so Masjid al-Aqsa, in Jerusalem to Masjid al-Haram. So it's 180 degrees, right? You can see the Kaaba, I mean the pictures of the Kaaba and all this. To Qibla. No reward, no special reward, just for your interest, right? To go to this mosque and just to pray 2 rak'ah Tahiyatul Masjid, inshallah, right? Then we have the Uhud, Battle of Uhud, yeah, the grave, yeah, and plus the Uhud mountains there, right? So just where 70 martyrs of the believers, right, including the Prophet's uncle Hamza anhu was martyred, yeah. So just a place of interest, yeah. Of course, we have the Quba, Baqi grave just beside the Prophet's mosque. Yeah, have you been there, Bilal, last time?
I think I passed it. And is it true that anyone who's buried there enters Jannah, or is that false?
No.
Just
one of the amazing graves of the Sahaba. Most important thing, of course, first of all, when we go there, we see that usually we think Sahaba must be amazing graves, right? Must be marbles and this, no, but very simple, right? In my culture, subhanallah, people spend thousands of pounds on marbles and all this, completely useless and waste of money and innovation, right? Whereas Sabah has completely nothing at all. And secondly, of course, is to remember death, right? When we visit the grave, nothing much, right? Uthman anhu was buried there. I will show you there, inshallah, when we go there. I know Halimatu Sa'diyah. What's Halimatu Sa'diyah again?
Was it one of the wives of the Prophet?
No, he was the one when Prophet Muhammad was born, right? Because in those days, the children, the babies are all were brought up in the village, isn't it true? Right, for cleaner air and all this. So he was the one who raised up Prophet Sallallahu when he was just born and all this. And eventually, when I think about 2 years old, she was supposed to return to the mother Aminah, and then she pleaded to her to give her more time, because when Muhammad Sallallahu was with her, they always have a lot of blessings in the house and all this. Yeah. So this is Halimatu Sa'diyah. Okay. I think the Prophet's wives, including Aisha anha, I think a few of them are buried there, right, in the bucket grave. Okay. So we can only visit there after Fajr or after Asar. It's closed at all times. Only men can visit there. Okay. Questions?
Ustad, I saw so Sonny Bill Williams, he's recently done Umrah, and he posted this video, and it was of this gravesite that has like no names, no nothing. It's many graves. Is that which gravesite is that? Do you know?
Where in Baqi grave?
I don't know. It could be Baqi grave.
All the
no
graves
names.
of the Sahaba has no names.
No names. Okay.
Yeah. So it's important. Can you imagine if somebody knows the Sayyidina Ali, where was he buried? Can you imagine? There's a lot of worshipping there and all this, of the Shia and all this. Yeah.
Would we, when it comes to the graves of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would we be able to see the graves, or is it because
No.
I googled it and it looks like there's like some barriers around it, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't even come close to it.
Okay, interesting.
Right. So just come from fines, inshallah. Right.
But we know that they're buried there, so we can like send salutations.
Yeah, just salutations is about it. Right.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Any questions? Other questions? Bilal, are you learning or benefit?
No,
this
definitely.
Class?
Jazakallah khair. Honestly, it's very I found it interesting and very interactive as well. I thought it was just gonna be one of those classes where you stay silent.
No. Now and Albin knows that with me, never silent. We ask all these questions.
No, Jazakallah khair. Honestly, it was a great help. Inshallah, I just need to compile everything in my head now, and I've read the notes that Niall sent to me already.
Yes.
But I need to go through them a few times, inshallah, because I don't think once is enough.
Yeah, ask me if you need any questions. Yeah. Can just send me a WhatsApp message and all this. Yeah.
Jazakallah khair. I will do, inshallah.
Are you are going with a group, isn't it true?
Correct. Talbiyah tours.
Now the problem with that, you see, you do need to teach your wife and your family what to do, because the worst thing that we can do is that people do not know anything much. You're just relying on your leader, and you have no khushu'. Do you know what I mean? Because you know the place is so crowded. The minute you turn your head right and left, everything lost. You know where they are, no? Because as I said before, I went with 14 students before. At the last round, I only left one person behind me. You know. Everybody disappeared. It's just that, because it's good because they know that what they are doing, alhamdulillah. But secondly is that you just want to concentrate on yourself instead of relying on your leader or whatever it is. So everybody need to know how big is your group, Bilal?
I'll be honest, because the communication's been so poor, I have no idea. But to be honest, I'm going with my mum as well, and my mum has been about 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
So my wife will be with her and our little one, and then my boy, inshallah, will be with me. So I'm not too worried about the group, as long as I do my research and.
Because you're the shepherd. You're a shepherd of the flock, isn't it true?
Definitely.
So you need to lead the shepherd the right path, inshallah.
Definitely, inshallah.
Right. Especially if you're a leader of I'm not saying you're a sheep, right? In a sheep, in a flock of sheep, there's always a leader, you know, right?
Yeah.
If the leader goes here, everybody will follow, right?
Definitely.
So that's where your position is, right? You're supposed to lead your family, inshallah, most important.
Inshallah.
So
Definitely.
most important, again, is important to, as I discussed just now, to understand what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, for me personally, be grateful to Allah all the time for inviting us, inshallah, to go there.
Inshallah.
Right? Questions now?
No.
I have one question actually, because my my wife is still feeding my son.
Yes.
I know obviously in normally your prayers for the women are better at home. However, when you're in Mecca and Medina, is it still still voluntary for them to go to pray in the masjid, or is it mandatory now?
I hate to say this, there are a few opinions regarding this, right? But I think in the sense that you are being invited by Allah to go there, isn't it true, right?
Yeah.
Like it or not, especially for women, right? It is important to feel that closeness to the Kaaba and all this, right?
No, yeah.
They will get more khushu', more grateful to Allah for seeing Kaaba and all this, right?
Yeah.
So I would encourage them to go with you as best as they can, of course, right?
Of course.
But of course, if she's tired, she can always pray at home in the hotel, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay?
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
Just on that, the haram is huge, right? Technically, so you'll still get the 100,000 reward, right? It's not actually what we classify as the haram, as in the building. It's much bigger.
Yeah. So the haram land. That is why, you know, remember that when we do the sunnah umrah, right? The place called Masjid Aisha is just at the border outside the haram.
Yeah.
Right. So the haram itself, I remember I think was it my first Hajj, a lot of things happened, subhanAllah. But anyway, my hotel was very far away in the end. We were kicked to very far away. But even then, maybe if you would take a walk, about 40 minutes away. Can you imagine that far away? But so sometimes in the Fajr, pretty difficult to pray in the Masjid al-Haram. So we pray in the mosque, local mosque, but the reward is still the same. So any mosque in the Haram area is equal to 100,000. We pray obligatory prayers. But of course,
not at home.
We must not be lazy, right? I'm sorry to say this, right? Last time in my Umrah was in Ramadan. Our hotel is maybe about 7-8 minutes away. People are so lazy. They just outside the hotel, they just put a prayer mat. That's it, right? And the worst part, you will see later, right? In this clock tower, right? Because it's air conditioned. People just put the prayer mat there and wait for the Jumu'ah prayer. I mean, what's the point of going all the way to Masjid Haram and you want to have the easy times? Isn't it true? Hajj and Umrah is never easy in order to get the full benefit, inshallah. You know? So even though it is acceptable to pray in any mosque, but again, it depends on the circumstances, of the people. If you are staying, I think your hotel is the Hilton Convention, is not that far, right? It's quite near. But so you can still go to the mosque all the time, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah. Anything?
Not so far. If I have any more questions, I'll definitely, because I'm still trying to process it all. I'm just gonna. It's gonna
post
take
your
me a
questions to our chief leader now, right? And then if they cannot answer, then please ask me, and I'll gladly help you, inshallah. Okay.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invite all of us to perform the Umrah in the best of manners. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our deeds. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those whom we'll be pleased with. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us patience. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hide our bad or our shortcomings in our Umrah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only show to him the goodness that we have in our acts of worship. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us energy, good health, and grant our Jannatul Firdaus. Subhanaka wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan. We see for our next message. Bilal, you can always welcome to join us in our class on Saturdays, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.